Okay. The moment you take responsibility for every single thing, 100% responsibility for everything in your life is the moment that you can change anything in your life. Do you realize that until you take 100% responsibility for what is showing up in your reality, you are not free? Because you are living from a conditioned mind that has been programmed, so you are not free. You may be walking around free on this earth, but you are not free. Because when you come to the realization that you are 100% responsible for what is showing up in your reality, you're on autopilot, right? When you take that responsibility, you come into the spiritual understanding to know that now I can create. I can change this reality that is not feeling good to me, does not look good to me. I can change that by just coming into alignment with the understanding that you are responsible for it. That's our third principle. We are responsible for our reality by the way we think, the way we feel, the beliefs that we are holding on to that probably aren't even serving us anymore. They were just beliefs that were programmed into us. Now, this is an uncomfortable statement, right? That I'm 100% responsible for my reality. How many people feel uncomfortable with that? Okay. But I invite you that when you feel uncomfortable, that is your opportunity to change, to evolve, to expand. Do you think you're going to expand and evolve through your spiritual evolution if you're staying in a place that always feels comfortable to you? No way. You would never change. You would be stagnated. You would just be living as a stagnated human being who doesn't move outside to explore, to challenge, to discover. Life is a mystery. There are so many things that we can step into and discover a whole new way of thinking instead of being this programmed robot that we live most of our life has, right? So the first thing I want you to come to an understanding of is that you are 100% responsible for your reality. And I invite those that have mirrors to look in the mirror and acknowledge that with yourself. Lisa, I know that you are creating your reality 100%. What isn't showing up, I'm going to look at. I'm going to give it attention. And then I'm going to set an intention to change it. Talk to yourself. Look into yourself. That's what mirror work is all about. Because you can't see yourself, can you? Can you, without the mirror? Can you see yourself? No. So the mirror helps us to engage in ourselves. It helps us to be a little uncomfortable looking in the mirror. Right? It's okay to be a little uncomfortable. Each time you practice mirror work, you'll get a little bit more comfortable with it. You'll dive into the self. Looking into the self. Doesn't it look a lot different when you're just staring up here than when you're looking into the self? Takes on a whole different perception, doesn't it? Very important. So, the next thing that we want to come to an understanding is, who am I? Do you all know who you are? You know who you are as a human being. This is Sharon Taylor. She's sitting here. She's a member of Unity. This is Margot Love. She's on our board. She's our vice president. Yeah, these are all labels we have, names we have. But who are you really? If your body was gone tomorrow, who are you? This body's just a little vessel you're in here to experience a life of experiences, a life of growing, evolving, to come back into asking the question, who am I? And that's our second principle here. I am made in the image of God. I am made in the image of all that is. I am an energetic being that is of spirit. That's who I am. That's when I come into knowing my identity. And when we live from the identity of the I am presence, then everything out here will look different. Everything out here will be created from the help of Source. You will no longer be feeling like I'm alone out here in the world with no help. You're never alone because you are part of all that is. You can be any expression you choose to be. It is just by making the choice, aligning yourself up with knowing that I am a spiritual being. I'm just here having this human experience so that my spiritual beingness can evolve a little bit more, can come into that light and that love a little bit more, right? So those are two things we have to really understand, is that we create our reality and that I am a spiritual being. I am that I am. So today, we're opening this up to the, I'll see if I say it right, Ho'oponopono. So this is Dr. Lynn, and I'm not going to even try to say his full name, but he says, my job here on earth is twofold. My job is first of all to awaken people who might be asleep. And I say to you, your first job is to awaken you who might be asleep. Because we cannot assist anybody else of their awakening until we ourselves are awakened. Almost everyone is asleep. The only way I can awaken them is to work on myself. That is how we awaken other people and how we awaken the world is working on ourselves. Because when you come in to the realization of knowing who you are, and that in that oneness, you create an energy of all that is good or of all that is not so good, right? This is the doctor who worked at a Hawaiian mental institution. And they were criminals who were mentally ill. And he came to the realization that if he worked on himself, that he could cure those patients. So he went in and he looked at their charts and he saw what was going on with them, and he asked himself this question: what is it in me that has brought this into my reality? He wasn't pointing his finger at them and saying, well, that guy's crazy, he killed a whole family. He didn't even look at the patients. He just knew that he was 100% responsible for what was showing up in his reality. So he asked himself, what is it in me that this is in my reality? Now, I know this is so far out there that most of you are saying, well, I don't understand how that can work at all. And the thing that I want to invite you into is not having to understand it. Coming into a place of faith and trust is how we open ourselves to the non-physical world beyond us. You're not going to understand it in the human mind, but this is researched. This is happening through groups of people where they're practicing this prayer. And they're able to heal themselves, and they're able to heal what is going on outside of themselves. So if you just had that little tidbit of wisdom to know that, and not having to dive in and understand it, like Margot would do, get the Excel sheet out. But just know that it works. That when I'm aligned with God, the divine, the universe, when I'm aligned with that, I don't need to understand it. I just need to trust and have faith to know that it works. And it is beyond my little human mind to grab a hold of all of the reasons it works. Okay? So he was able to heal this whole clinic of criminally insane people just by changing the way he looked at himself. By healing these little things in him that came up, that were being created in his reality. So that's what we're going to do today. So this is the prayer that I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So when there's something going on in your life, showing up that you're not wanting, even though you are creating it, there's something in you that is coming from this place of woundedness that is creating what you're not liking outside of yourself. So what I want you to see when you see this is of being sorry to yourself for ever thinking that. For ever thinking that I was less than this beautiful divine child of God. So when we look in our mirrors and we say, I'm sorry, that's what I invite you to do. Is be sorry and have the remorse of forgetting what your true spiritual identity is. Because we wouldn't have created that outside of ourselves if we had been coming from that presence, right? It wouldn't look so damaged outside if we were coming from that presence. So I invite you to get your mirrors out. And again, if things come up as we go through this, you want to be journaling. But look in your mirror. And just think of the times where you have felt, for me, it's been unworthiness. That I'm not worthy or that I'm not enough. And those are wounds from my past. And those wounds come up as memories of the past that have not been cleaned. He uses the word cleaned. He does a cleaning, and we're going to do a cleaning today as well. So, what we want to get to is a point where every time something comes up that is of a woundedness, of a lack, that we're seeing lack in ourselves, we want to say this, because this will clean that out of our memory bank. Because that's what we run on. The data that goes through our mind is all ran on your past. It's all part of your memories. They just keep coming up again whenever they get activated so that you can clean them, so that you can release them, so that you can let them go. So, look in your mirror, I'm sorry, and then think of what you want to show remorse for. For me, it is the unworthiness. I am sorry. And then we say, please forgive me. Please forgive me for ever thinking, Lisa, that you were anything less than divine. Please forgive me. And it needs to be felt. There needs to be a remorse about it, that you ever thought that way to begin with. And then, I thank you. And who are we thanking? It doesn't matter who you're thanking. But the divine is right there, knowing that I'm thankful that I've made a different decision to no longer come from that place of unworthiness. Because I'm going to clean that out of my memory bank, so the next time it won't come up. It'll be cleaned from me. And then I say, and I love you. And as I do that, I change what's going to show up out here. I change the unworthiness of the world just by rippling that out from my own desire to do this process. So, I invite you to do that as things come up and clean that out of your memory bank. Having a clear mind and a clear space allows you to think and act with purpose. So he talks about, Dr. Lynn, about, well, they actually have changed. He's got a new website now, and it's called Self-I, capital I, Identity. So he's changed that for us to come into the self, the capital S self of the I am. And it's from that identity that we heal. But the reason he teaches this cleaning is he wants you to understand that we're here to come to a state of zero. A state where you no longer have these memories in your database coming up. Because that's all that your thought, as you're sitting here right now, you've probably got thoughts going through your head, right? And what are those thoughts connected to? To the past? To a feeling that you've had? So he says, as you clean and clear and let go of this data coming out of your memory bank, you can come into a place of the void, of a blank slate, completely purified. No longer do I have all these old past memories in my data bank anymore. And then we're able to fill them up with all the spiritual truths, right? But we have to create a space, a void, a zero, he calls it. He's got his website is zero.wise.com. Zero. And then you live from that. And only then do you go out and you can help others to do the same. But it's first about you. Self-identity. First about you.
What about your good memories? Are those gone too?
No. This is just things that are coming up that you don't like anymore, that aren't serving you, that are creating pain in you, suffering in you. No, just your negative stuff that's coming from that wounded place. Yeah. Oh, no. No, this is only about the memories that just, are not in alignment with that spiritual being that you are. Yes, thank you. So make that clarification. So here's old Eckhart Tolle. To recognize one's own insanity is, of course, the arising of sanity, the beginning of healing and transcendence. So until we come into this place of knowing who we are, why we're here, and that I'm 100% responsible for what I'm creating, you're actually living your life insane. Because none of it's true. None of it's true. You are just like a computer who's been programmed and conditioned to feel that you're this worthless little thing walking the face of the earth with no power. Insanity. There's no truth to it. We believe in a loving God, a God that's all good. Anything less than that is not of you. It is only something being created outside of you by the thoughts that you're holding and the collective is holding. May even be from your ancestors. You may have things coming in that you've carried from your ancestors' lineage. So let's clean it up. Get rid of it. Right? So we want to come into a place of sameness, of truth, of only truth. That's what unity is all about, is empowering you to come into that divine power that you are, that you can be the good, you can show up as the good, and you can help other people come into that through their own healing. And that's what we're here to do, is to heal. So we're going to go into a meditation, and as we do, she invites you to look in the mirror as you're going through the meditation. At the end, she's going to use the prayer. The I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. We're going to do that meditation. And then afterwards, I'm actually going to take you through a cleaning video that actually cleans, will help you to clean up your past non-serving memories. So let's just get settled in our seats. And again, if you want to do the mirror work, use your mirror during the meditation. And just plant your feet on the ground and get connected to Mother Earth. We always want to be rooted in Mother Earth before we ever decide that we want to meditate. And then you want to come up from Mother Earth by just wrapping around her core, and we come up into our heart. And we open up our crown chakra to source as we take in this beautiful meditation.